again, everyone. Chuck Burr back again at Memorial Auditorium. Before I can get the words Hans Schmidt out of my mouth, he's into action. I wasn't going to tell you who it was. I was going to let you guess, and I'm sure the first guess would have been the one that would have been all you would have needed. But for the record, that's Hans Schmidt, the German terror. On the right, on his knees, Verne Gagne, who took a left hand to the pit of the stomach. Before the bell, is now just getting out of his diamond-studded belt and jacket, and is starting off under a handicap. Hans Schmidt and Verne Gagne. Gagne ranked among the top 2 or 3 wrestlers in the business today. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hans Schmidt, the terrible Teuton from Germany. And they say that Schmidt is a wild man, and I guess they're right. Joe Moscato, the referee. I've got a second right in front of me. I don't know. I don't think he knows quite where to go. Flying mare, a knee to the throat. This Schmidt is rated as incorrigible, and you can understand why. Gagne out of the ring. Schmidt threatening Moscato, Moscato threatening Schmidt. This Schmidt, during his turbulent career, has sent no fewer than 40 opponents into hospitals to recover from just about as many types of serious injury. Several national magazines have rated this guy as public enemy #1 in sport. Protests have flooded commission officers and commission offices in every state at which he has appeared, asking that he be barred from further participation in sports. And Verne Gagne, his opponent tonight, is getting the full Schmidt treatment. And Verne hasn't had a chance to get into the ring long enough to take the offensive at all. And a crowd of some, 8,000 people here is going slightly wild at the antics of Mr. Schmidt. After one tumultuous night in Chicago, they tell me some 5,000 letters of protest, because that bout 2 was televised, were received, and all of them requested that Schmidt be thrown out for life. He was offered free psychiatric examinations, and a kindly undertaker, I don't know if it was Digger or Odell, offered him burial without charge. They could find somebody mean and strong enough to do him in. And also received 30 lectures or offers to set him on the straight and narrow from some 30 ministers. But he is incorrigible. And look at him dish it out. Hans Schmidt. He's arrogant. He's mean. He's miserable. He's big. He's strong. He has plenty of ability. He's got everything going for him. And he also had Gagne's shoulder going for him. Look at this. Shoulder block. And Mr. Gagne has turned the table. And the crowd loves it. And Marty Moscato's merry men, Marty Moscato's fine private police are in action tonight. They've had to be. Right above my microphone, Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Gagne. And Hans Schmidt is standing right beside me, and I'd like him to move away. My nerves have been shattered sufficiently tonight as it is. And all I need is a dirty look from Schmidt, and I'm going to be right under that ring. Gagne isn't about to let Schmidt back in. Gagne threatened to haul off on Joe Moscato. And you can understand his frustration now. One of the greatest in the business, Verne Gagne, against the mean alive, I'll be all right, the meanest man alive, Hans Schmidt. Gagne, a former Olympic champion, national AAU. Former All-America from the University of Minnesota. Played along such men as Leo Namalini, Leo the Lion, a great wrestler in his own right, and a star for the San Francisco 49ers. Clayton Tonemaker played with him. Also Bud Grant and Gordy Salto, the place kicker par excellence of the National Football League with the 49ers. A lot of speed, Gagne, a lot of ability, and a lot of strength that belies a comparatively frail-looking physique. He wants to unload on Hans Schmidt. And for the life of me, I'll never understand why they wait. Well, he didn't wait too long. Rope strangle by Schmidt. And we've got a public hanging here for free. Moscato orders a break. Schmidt does, but only momentarily. Now he breaks for good. And Gagne is groggy. This crowd is in a real uproar, and they have been in a real uproar all evening long. A tremendous program promoted by the Buffalo Wrestling Club and Pedro Martinez. Nowhere but nowhere do you find better wrestling, more thrilling, provocative wrestling with greater names than in Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. They trade drop kicks. Gagne with a knee to the throat, climbs aboard. Moscato counts, and then Gagne is flipped out. Schmidt weighs 240. At least he lists at 240, but most people think he goes about 265 or 270. Tremendous physical shape. It's a lone wolf, this Schmidt. One of the few wrestlers that I know who is as unfriendly outside the ring as he is inside it. Even the Miller brothers, unless you happen to rile them up, of course, are sometimes, not always, but sometimes pleasant. This Schmidt never is. And in the ring, well, words cannot adequately do him justice. Schmidt, finishing hold is a backbreaker, and if he gets a chance to apply it, he literally aims to break his opponent's back. Test of strength. Gagne had to lose it, of course. Much smaller of the two is Verne Gagne. Old signals on that. Gagne to his feet once again. And Schmidt had the equalizer, a knee. You saw it. The slam. They'll go one fall, 30 minutes if they go all the way. Arm lock and roll, one of Gagne's favorites. really chomped with those size 11s on Mr. Hans Schmidt's very tender ears. The crowd loved it. Hans Schmidt has all the earmarks of a beautiful headache. A thing like this only enrages the madman. And in all probability, Verne Gagne will pay a heavy penalty. Schmidt threatens to break him in half and heave him out, piece by piece. Gagne is winding up, and Schmidt breaks it off. And this, look at that Schmidt. He's got brutality written all over him. Boom. A leg Nelson. And Mr. Schmidt is hung up pretty good. Now Gagne's got to be careful that Schmidt doesn't shoulder stand him into a pinfall. Gagne had the answer, and Schmidt is outside the lower strand. And Joe Moscato's going to have to break it up. If you think he's kidding with those boots, look at that. Moscato and Schmidt. Schmidt is tough, but not that tough. And he'll walk right into it. Oh, boy. Over and out. Gagne applying that famous revolving arm twist. And Schmidt knew one way to break it. That was head for the tall timbers. He did. Boy, this ring has taken a tremendous beating tonight. I hope it can go the distance. Bruiser Athens, of course, tried to splinter the ring steps into kindling wood and succeeded. Hans Schmidt was trying to tear it apart with his bare hands a moment ago. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he was able to do it too. Oh, boy. That is a blow to the ego. That's going to really frost Mr. Schmidt. Real lovable character. If you were to ask every person in the house tonight what they thought of Hans Schmidt, I doubt you'd get one printable answer. Watch out. Pulled him off and into a headlock. That's the first legitimate hold that Schmidt has applied all evening. Now, I'm not so sure how legitimate this is. Gagne reaching. Moscato said, "Did you use the hair?" Schmidt said, "No, I don't know what Joe expected him to answer." Gagne reverses. Now they're trading holds. Head scissors by Gagne. Got Schmidt in the horse collar. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Schmidt trying to snap out of it, but he's too thoroughly entrenched. Gagne with the flat of his hand to Mr. Schmidt's whiskers. Schmidt's ears will ring for a week. And he'll have a headache for 2. Boy, oh boy. Referees hold. And it's nice to see that bit of legitimacy. See how long it lasts. No break. Gagne trying to reverse out of the headlock. Can't do it. Slides out, off the ropes. Here we go. Times Square and 42nd Street. Traffic jam and the inevitable crack-up. And we got a couple of gone goslings out there in the center of the ring. Now it's a question who's going to get up first. Schmidt is beginning to come to. Gagne is not. Yes, he is. He's beginning to stir a little bit. Schmidt rolls him over, climbs aboard. Joe Moscato, 2. Gagne heaves him off. Just in time. The Verne Gagne Fan Club, which is conventioning here in Buffalo, along with the fan clubs of some 150 other wrestlers, is very relieved that their hero, that its hero, was able to stave off what looked to be a sure pinfall. That Gagne was never noted as a punter in college, but he's booting the daylights out of Hans Schmidt. Gagne aboard, and he's throwing off. Right hand of the breadbasket. Elbow smash. Boy, look at that Schmidt. The slam. Backbreaker by Schmidt. Once again, 2. Schmidt couldn't hold him. Gagne survived the backbreaker, and he's one of the few. Can he survive it again? Head scissors by Gagne. Flying head scissors. And that staved it off again. And there they separate the men from the boys in the wrestling game. A fellow like Gagne, in the throes of one of the most effective finishing holds of them all, the Hans Schmidt backbreaker, had enough presence of mind and endurance remaining that when he was lifted for the finisher, wrapped his legs around Schmidt and turned the backbreaker into a flying head scissors to his advantage. That's why Gagne is one of the most popular and highest paid stars in wrestling today. Gagne a little upset at referee Joe Moscato. I hope he does not get so upset that he hauls off, because that could cost him a disqualification. Oh, boy. Both men. Flying boxer stance or forms of them. Gagne a little more, according to Marcus of Queensberry. And Hans Schmidt's left knee is bearing the brunt. Up and down. There's the bell, and Gagne doesn't want to quit. They've gone all the way. I don't think they heard it. Moscato did. He's telling Gagne it's all over. It's all over. And Hans Schmidt will probably have to be carried out. No, he's going to make it up. There is Hans Schmidt in action. Into the turnbuckle. Here comes ring announcer Manny White, and we'll have the official verdict in a moment. Verne Gagne is out of the ring on the far side. Boy, oh boy, he took it. And he is a groggy man. Schmidt really rammed him. Schmidt. Here comes Gagne back in. We may have trouble here. Here comes Gagne. Boom. And out goes Mr. Schmidt. And nobody made a move in defense of Hans Schmidt. Here comes Schmidt back in. Out the other side. How do you like them apples? Schmidt has got a weapon of some sort. Verne Gagne waiting for him. Now the police are over there, and Hans Schmidt is leaving the ring before the verdict is announced. Before we get a decision, the police have asked Mr. Schmidt to leave. And it's probably a good thing that fast and prompt action on the part of the efficient private police here may have prevented a dandy of a riot. Gagne, one vote. One draw. A draw. All right, it's split, but it's a split draw decision. Verne Gagne got a vote. Two officials voted a draw, so that's it officially. Hans Schmidt, Verne Gagne, 3 minutes to a draw.